Hi guys, so in this video we're going to talk about pie charts and how to draw pie charts or find answers from questions that have pie charts. Okay, now first let's take a look at a pie chart. Pie chart looks something like this, which looks like a pie. Okay, it has parts inside of it like this. This, for example, this. Okay, so that's a pie chart. Now questions come like that. They will put a pie chart here. For example, they will give you an angle. Let's say this is 30 degrees. And here, 5 people, not 5 people. Right. And the whole number of people, for example, is 250. Right? That's an example. Right. Now, the question will say, how many people are here in this 30 degrees? Or, what's the angle of these 5 people? These are two types of questions in one question. Okay, you're not in the same question. I'm just telling you the types of questions related to pie charts. يعني انا هيك انا نحكي لكم على نوعيه الاسئله اللي قاعده في الباي شارت. فتعال نشوفوا الباي شارت وحده وحده. اول حاجه انا عارف ان the total number of people is 250. After knowing this, I'm going to use this information تمام to find how many people are in the 30 degrees angle, or what is the angle of the 5 people. Now, first thing we do is what? أول حاجة, if I'm trying to find an angle, معناها ناخذ number of people اللي هو صغير هذا divided by the total number of people, like this. So I'm going to say 5 divide 250. Well, here I'm trying to find number of people, okay? Angles, sorry. Okay. I divide this to make a fraction. Now I made the fraction people. Remember, يعني عندي جزء كلي يعني the part number and the total number of people. تمام? I divide by each other to create a fraction. And after that, because I'm trying to find the angle, I'll multiply it by the sum of angles اللي هي كام؟ اللي هي 360. I will get the answer of the angle for the 5 people. So I use a calculator here. I divide 5 by 250 and then multiply by 360. And the angle will be 7.2. The angle will be 7.2. That's an example, of course. Degrees. Well, so to find the angle, first thing we do, we divide the part number on the total number, and then multiply by 360, we'll get the angle. Now, how do we get number of people using angles? I know that this angle is 30, and I know that the total number of angles is 360. Now I'm going to divide the 30, which is a part number of angles, على total number of angles اللي هو كم؟ اللي هو 360. So divide 30 by 360. هيك أنا درت fraction بالangles. يبقى يا إما ندير fraction بالpeople يا اما ندير فراكشن بالانجلز وبعدين نضربه في الحاجه اللي قعدت اللي هي لو درتها بالانجلز نضرب في البيبل لو درتها بالبيبل نضرب في الانجلز. Now I do a fraction with the angles multiplied by the number of people and I will get the number of people. So the number of people is 20.8. That's an example. 20.8 people. That's the idea of this pie chart thing. So the pie chart basically focuses on what? Finding the angles using the part number of people, or finding the people number using the part angles. That's the idea of pie charts. Let's move on to the next question. Here we talked about them in the mode, median, range. You have to know how to use the protractor, stuff like that. Positive, negative correlations, no correlation, line of best fit. هذه كلها حكينا عنها تمام. Compared to the distribution of scatter diagram, frequency polygons, even frequency polygons, we talked about them, how to get them. Possible outcomes. طبعا هذا probability. This is the last one, which is probability. How many questions? Oh, it's still 2 people. Let's see. So with probability, what are the possible outcomes when you roll a pair dice, 6-sided dice? أنا معناها لما يجي عندك 6-sided die when you throw it, what are the possible outcomes? That's the idea of the question. So what's the possible outcome of that? بقى الداي كان فيها 6 sides من 1 لعند 6. معناها the possible outcomes هيقعد 1 2 3 4 5 6. We call these possible outcomes. We must know the difference between possible outcomes and probabilities. The possible outcomes معناها شنو ممكن يجيك when you throw it. Probability, it means when you throw it, or when you throw it, yes. Okay. 6-sided. When you throw it, what's the probability of having this? يعني مثلا هنا, what's the probability of rolling a 3 on a first 6-sided die? كم في 3 في ال 6-sided die؟ هي وحدة. معناها البروبابيلتي حتكون شنو؟ حتكون 1 over 6. 1 over 6. ليش 1 over 6؟ لأني عندي 3 وحدة هنا وكلهن 6. معناها the probability of getting 3 هي 1 over 6. And then the next one, what's the probability of not rolling a 3? يعني شنو هي البروبابيلتي ان يجيني نمبر اخر حاطي 3. I'll take a look at them. How many numbers are rather 3 يعني مش 3. هيكون عندي 5 numbers. معناها probability of not getting a 3 will be 5 over 6. That's the idea of this question. معناها ركزوا كيف نجيبوا outcomes, possible outcomes, كيف نجيبوا probabilities and the non-probabilities. تمام؟ ليش؟ لأن we have to know the difference between them and how to get them. No? Let's move on. Probability is easy. It's not hard to do. Giving data on a car colors passing the school gate. What's the probability that the next car to pass the school gate is red? طبعا giving data, it means يعطوك معلومات هم. تمام؟ يعني يقول لك مثلا
Gustav, we are only two, Raf. You drive.
2 pages.
Not 2 pages. No, no, wait. I don't know. There's 2 people here.
I mean 2 people. Yeah, it's you and Raj. It's okay. We're gonna finish this because that's it. Yeah, the probability is this. People are sleeping. Okay, خلاص almost done. If you want to sleep, sleep, guys. It's okay. You can leave. I have to finish the video so I can upload it. That's it. So giving the data, so they will give you the data. For example, they will tell you 2 red cars, 3 red cars, 5 red cars pass the gate. What's the probability? تاخذ عدد الريد cars and divided by the whole number of cars. فرضا ما قالكش شنو؟ فرضا, let's say they didn't tell you what is the right. Even you, right, if you want to leave, you can leave. Okay, it's up to you. I have to finish the video so I can upload it. That's it. So if they don't tell you how many cars are there, and they tell you what's the probability of the next car being red, it means it might be red, it might not. So the probability will be 50% or 1 over 2. So if they give you numbers, you're going to use the part number of the red or the total number of cars. Like if they don't give you numbers, it means you do it 1 over 2. Okay. So this one is like an example. It's not a question because it's missing numbers. If 200 cars pass the school gates, how many do you expect to be red? Same idea. After finding the probability of the red, you multiply it by the 200 cars. That's the idea of this question. Yeah? So focus on these, including a list, tables, Venn diagram, and sample space diagram. All of these are easy in probabilities, and I think most of you have no problems. If you have any problems, read the questions in the IGs. You'll see the ideas of them. And how to use Venn diagram, sample space diagram, and stuff like this. Okay. Are rolling, let's talk about this. Are rolling a 3 and rolling an even number mutually exclusive? Now, when we talk about this, what's the meaning of mutually exclusive? That's what we need to know. Mutually exclusive means 2 events that don't happen at the same time. There are 2 events that don't happen at the same time. Now, rolling a 3 and rolling an even number, can they happen at the same time when you roll dice? For example, if the dice lands on a number, can it be 3 and an even number at the same time? It can't. So it means they are mutually exclusive. So they are mutually exclusive. When you explain this, you say because they can't happen at the same time. They can't happen at the same time, and this is the meaning of mutually exclusive. Now, let's move on to the next question. A fair, is this a fair die given experimental data? How do you know fair dice or fair dice? How do you know them? When you look at the numbers, if the numbers of happening or the possible outcomes are the same, it means the dice is fair or the die is fair. But if the numbers are not the same, it means it's not fair. That's the idea of fair die. Fair die must have the same possible outcomes of all events. That's the idea, okay? And then knowing how to use this one is used in three diagrams. It means the probability of an event and an event happening. It means you take the two events, multiply them by each other. You take the two probabilities, multiply them by each other. So this one is used in three diagrams. When you have three diagrams, you multiply the first one by the second one's probability. That's the idea of this one. You always use it. And then for the last question, I think this is page 32. Yeah, these are assessment confirmation. Here, what's the probability that two identical socks picked at random from a pile are a pair? It means if you have a pile of socks, okay? Yes, if you have a pile of socks, you have a pile of socks. Let's say we have a pile of socks like this. I don't know. I don't know how to draw socks though. Like this, socks, socks. What's the probability of picking a pair? So the idea, you might pick a pair, you might not. So it's a 50% probability for 1/2. That's the idea for this question. I hope you understood all the questions. If you have problems, watch the videos again over and over. And if you still didn't understand the topic, go ahead, check the questions of the IGCSEs and try to find questions that explain or that have the same ideas as the same ideas as the topic. And that's it for this specification paper. I hope we covered everything. If you have any problems, tell me so I can add more explanations. Thank you very much for attending this session. I hope to see you soon.